Okay. I call the order of the meeting of the Verona Common Council for Monday, January 12th, 2026 at 7 p.m. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we'll have the roll.
Humke.
Here.
Weiss. Here. Lytle. Excuse. Tucker Long.
Here.
Keller.
Here.
Swanson.
Here.
Opes.
Present.
Harrison. Here. 7 present, Mr. Mayor.
All right, that's enough for quorum, so we can proceed. We'll move on to item 4, which is public comment. If any members of the public wish to speak, now would be the time to do so. Seeing no one approaching the table, we'll move on to item 5, which is approval of the minutes from the December 8th, 2025 Common Council meeting. Questions, comments, corrections, or motions to approve? Alder Humke.
I move to approve.
Motion by Alder Humke. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alder Harrison. Last chance for corrections. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of approving the minutes from the December 8th, 2025 Common Council meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And the minutes are approved. We will move on to item 6, and we have one, which is mayor's business. I have one thing, which is 6A, the EMS commission appointments. I believe they are in the packet. But basically, it's reappointing Alder Lytle, who was previously on the Fitron EMS, and Stephen, who is one of the citizen appointments. Derek Johnson was not reappointed, and that was nothing to do with Derek. I thought he had been doing a really good job. It was just with the new IGA, which allowed Verona taxpayers to pay less into the district. We went from having 3 seats to 2 seats. So one of the people wasn't able to be reappointed. So I guess I would entertain a motion to confirm those appointments. Alder Swanson.
Move to approve the appointments.
Motion by Alder Swanson. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alder Keller. All those in favor of confirming the EMS appointments signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And the commission appointments are approved. With that, we'll move on to item 7, announcements. Any announcements from the council? Alder Tucker Long.
We have cards going around, and there's a lot of them today. So as you finish them, if we could keep them moving. So thanks.
Any other announcements from the council? Seeing no other announcements, we'll move on to item 8, which is the administrator's report. Mr. Olick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have just a couple of quick ones. First, our finance department, along with our clerk's office staff, was very busy in the month of December and over the holidays. In total, they collected nearly $24 million in property taxes. So very, very busy. Still another 1,000 plus bills to collect on, but the vast majority have been collected. Also, this is from Clerk Licht. There will be a spring primary on February 17th. The city will have one contest on the ballot, which is the Dane County Circuit Court Branch 1. And she also said that all polling locations will be open for February 17th, so everybody should just go vote at their normal location. And if you have any questions about how to register or how to vote, please do contact our awesome city clerk staff, and they'll get you to the right spot. So thank you. That's all I have.
I just want to add one real quick thing. The $20 million of property taxes is not all going to the city. It's going
Also
to
true.
the school district, the county, and Madison College. Just we don't have all of it. It's going to other places. Any questions for Mr. Olick? All right. With that, we move on to item 9, which is the engineer's report. Ms. Fisher.
Thank you. The rehabilitation of well 6 is now complete. The DNR has granted approval of putting the well back online with continued nitrate sampling and monitoring. For Avalon Ridge, sanitary sewer and water main installation on North Main Street was completed in December. Utility work and the rest of the project is expected to start early this year. For Kettle Creek North, 60% engineering plans for Phase 9 have been submitted for review and are under review. And finally, for SSM Health, the gravity and force main sanitary sewer has been completed on Paola Street. Water main construction has been put on hold for bore pit excavation. WSDOT has allowed State Highway 69 to remain in its current traffic configuration for the remainder of the winter until the weather allows the contractor to place asphalt and concrete pavement on the southbound lanes. which is expected to occur this spring. Valley Road has been paved to the binder layer for its entire length. So with that, I can take any questions.
Thank you. Any questions on the engineer's report? Seeing no questions, we will move on to item 10, which is committee reports. First up, we have 10A Finance Committee. Alder Humke.
Yeah, I make a motion for payment to the bills, the amount of $19,359,757.08.
Motion by Alder Humke. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alder Host. Alder Humke.
Yeah, so the first item is a payment of $299,704 to McQueen Equipment for the second leaf truck, $431,471 to Wolf Paving and Excavating for street rehabilitation, $366,082 to Fitch Rona EMS for the first half operating of 2026. And then, as Mayor Diaz said, payments to other taxing entities of $16,874,966, which is comprised of a payment to Dane County in the amount of $3,067,318, to MATC of $735,116, and to Verona Area School District, $13,072,531.
Thank you for that explanation. Questions or comments on the motion to pay the bills? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of paying the bills, the amount specified, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And that motion passes. Anything further from Finance?
Nothing further, Mr. Mayor.
Excellent. With that, we move on to 10B, which is Plan Commission. Alder Swanson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to approve resolution number 26-001 for preliminary and final plan of a planned development for a 116-unit apartment building and 6,904 square feet of commercial space located at 511 West Verona Avenue, contingent on a cross-access agreement recorded with the Register of Deeds and execution of a development agreement.
Motion by Alder Swanson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alder Weiss. Alder Swanson.
Thank you. The Planning Commission held the required public hearing on January 5th, 2026, and voted 5-0 to recommend the Common Council approve the preliminary plan and final plan of the planned development for a 116-unit apartment building and approximately 6,900 square feet of commercial located at 511 West Verona Avenue with the following exemptions and conditions. Exemptions granted for the following. First, allowing a 116-unit apartment complex, which is otherwise prohibited in the suburban commercial zoning district. Second, increasing the maximum building height from 45 feet to 50 feet to match the existing Sugar Creek Commons buildings. Third, allowing a 5-foot pavement setback encroachment along the east property line that abuts existing pavement. And fourth, allowing canopy signs to exceed the 50% maximum area up to a maximum height of 18 inches. And then conditions of approval, including that the approval shall become effective upon a cross-access agreement recorded with the Register of Deeds, and second, that the approval shall become effective upon the execution of a development agreement. The Plan Commission found the application meets the standards for granting a plan development as outlined in the report.
Thank you. Mr. Alec also is going to read a statement from our attorney, Mr. Kleinmeyer. Mr. Alec.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The multifamily development proposal before the Common Council tonight involves land that is subject to the Sugar Creek Commons TIF agreement, or Tax Incremental Finance Agreement. To qualify for payments under that agreement, the developer needs to satisfy several requirements, including constructing the hotel project identified in the agreement. To be clear, the proposed multifamily development being discussed by the Common Council tonight does not satisfy the hotel project requirement under the TIF agreement. Thus, even if the site plan and zoning is approved by the Common Council, the developer will not receive any TIF payments under the TIF agreement unless the Common Council approves an amendment to the TIF agreement that addresses the requirement related to the hotel project and other requirements in the TIF agreement that the developer already failed to satisfy. City staff plans to discuss these issues with the Common Council at its meeting on January 26, 2026. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I will open up for discussion to the council. Questions, comments on the motion? Alder Tucker-Long, then Alder Weiss.
In light of the attorney's statement, does this mean that we should postpone voting on this until the discussion on the 26th? No.
No, it's completely, I think
They're
the
separate.
statement is that this is separate from the TIF.
From that, okay. So nothing we do today is going to affect that discussion.
Correct.
Okay.
Alder Weiss.
Is the developer requesting disbursement of the TIF funds?
Mr. Alec, or if the applicant wants to answer that, if you feel comfortable?
I have no knowledge of the land development.
Okay. Mr. Alec?
No, they're not requesting TIF funds. That was stated also, I believe, at the Plan Commission by our Planning and Development Director, Lucas Severson, who had information from FDG about that as well. So
Okay,
they're
so-
not requesting the TIF.
Okay,
But
so.
in order
so-
to, I'm sorry.
So if they're not requesting it and they don't qualify for it, then it's just, does it require action by this body to say, and you shall not get it, or is it just dies on the vine?
And that's kind of what he is saying. Part 2 of this is us formalizing that at the next meeting.
Okay,
Yep.
all right, thank you.
Alder Host? Oh,
You answered my questions. Thank you.
got it. Other questions or comments? Alder Tucker Long, Alder Keller, and then myself.
I'm wondering if we could get some clarification on the exemption they're requesting for the canopy signs.
Mr. Severson?
Yeah, for the canopy sign, so if you've driven out there and looked at some of the signage on the building, there already are existing canopy signs located on the face of some of the canopies. And so the idea, because not all the canopies are the same size, some are smaller, some are longer. I guess the canopy sign for JSD that's currently up there is a good example of what would be permitted. Because of the canopies for some of the other businesses are not as wide, they wouldn't necessarily be able to put up lettering as large as JSD. And it was thought that it's appropriate and makes sense to allow all the businesses along that frontage to have lettering the same size as JSD.
Perfect, thank you.
Alder Keller, then myself.
Yeah, that was essentially my question. Like, are we just kind of bringing this building in so that it visually looks like the other buildings along West Main?
Yep, that was the idea.
Great.
Calling on myself, as far as the land use and project goes, I like the commercial facing Verona Avenue, and I'm glad that they took the drive-through out, because I don't think that's a good fit for the area. Other thoughts or comments on the motion? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of approving resolution number 26-001 for a preliminary and final plat of a planned development for a 116-unit apartment building and a 6,904 square foot commercial space located at 511 West Verona Avenue with the contingency specified, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And that motion passes. Anything further from Plan Commission?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Excellent. With that, we'll move on to 10C, which is Public Safety and Welfare Committee. Alder Host.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to approve an application for a Class B fermented malt beverage and Class C wine license for Grand Haveli Restaurant Incorporated, doing business as Grand Haveli, Raul Sayini agent, located at 1039 North Edge Trail.
Motion by Alder Host. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alder Swanson. Alder Host.
Thank you. The applicant is applying for a beer and wine license for their new restaurant. Staff recommend approval of the license contingent upon final inspections.
And the contingency was part of the original motion?
Correct.
And that was the understanding of the second as well? Yes. Excellent. Motion before the body. Questions or comments on the motion? Alder Humke and then myself.
Yeah, I'm just going to say I really appreciate having diversity of food options in Verona. I've been looking forward to an Indian restaurant here for many, many years. So super excited. And I know that we've had other eateries opening recently too that we approved similar licenses for. And like, it's just very exciting to see this community grow and develop in this way. So really excited for y'all.
Calling on myself, basically what Alder Humke said. I'm super excited as well. Other questions or comments? Alder Keller?
I'm just going to say ditto. I am thrilled. I am thrilled to get an Indian food restaurant here, and I will be like there all the time. So sorry, not sorry.
Other questions or comments? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of approving the application for a Class B fermented malt beverage license and Class C wine license from Grand Haveli Restaurant, Inc., doing business as Grand Haveli, Rahul Sahini, agent, located at 1039 North Edge Trail, with the contingency specified, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And that motion passes. Alder Host.
I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance number 25-1078, amending Title 10, Chapter 1, Section 26, prohibited parking during certain periods.
Motion by Alder Host. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alder Harrison. Alder Host.
Thank you. This is actually kind of a two-part deal. The first one's quite simple. Proposed amendment would remove a 2-hour parking restriction for Church Avenue between South Main Street and South Schuman Street. I'm told that there are no signs already on that street, so this is really just cleaning up the ordinance. That's the easy part. Secondly, we're going to remove a restriction on overnight parking in the public parking lot on the northwest corner of Park Lane and South Franklin Street from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. And in committee, we discussed that we're going to add the contingency, or we're going to add that that'll be effective November 20th through April 1st, so it matches with the city, what do we call it, the alternate side parking. So I think the idea there was we wanted to, encourage folks that if they can't drive home after they've been out drinking or whatnot, that they can park there. But Public Works had concerns that they wanted to be able to plow the lot in the winter. So since there are some alternate side parking options on, Franklin and around there, this won't eliminate that option for folks. So we felt that was better. So that was the addition we made, was November 20th to April 1st. That would not be allowed. Hope that it explains it.
I think so.
Thank you.
Alder Tucker Long.
I have two quick things. First, I just want to clarify, when you said it's effective from November 20th to April 1st, do you mean the opposite?
I guess, can people park overnight from 3 to 6 a.m. from November 20th to April 1st, or not? It's not, right?
Yeah, so we are not allowing them to park there in the winter time so that
Yes.
it gets
Okay.
plowed. Yes, thank you.
Perfect. And then my only other suggestion would be, instead of listing the dates there, if we reference the Title 10, Section, 10-129, winter parking regulations, if we reference that section, then we don't have to have another place to update those if those dates ever change.
Sorry, go ahead.
That sounds like a great idea.
I would ask for unanimous consent from the council to change it as a record-keeping thing.
Do you want me to make an amendment?
I'm asking for unanimous consent right
Okay.
now. So if someone objects, then I guess make an amendment. If nobody objects, we can just, that's part of the motion. Okay. I'm seeing, because it's basically keeping it the same thing. And honestly, I had just had a thought to myself that, like, with global warming and climate change, like April 1st is getting kind of late for snow. And so maybe at some point in the future, we'll change it. It would be nice to only change it once.
Question on there, I guess, we'll instruct the Public Works Department to keep the signage. So they're going to make new signs, so keep it similar to the other signage in the city with, that references the dates, I think, still. Okay, thank you.
Other questions or comments? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of approving ordinance number 25-1078, amending Title 10, Chapter 1, Section 26, prohibited parking during certain periods as described by Alder Hoax, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no. And that motion passes. Anything further from Public Safety?
Nothing further, thank you.
Excellent. With that, we move on to 10D, which is Public Works, Sewer, and Water Committee. Alder Tucker Long.
Thank you. I move to approve Stormwater Services Agreement Amendment with AECom at a cost not to exceed $104,000.
Motion by Alder Tucker Long. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alder Keller. Alder Tucker Long.
Thank you. On an ongoing basis, AECom has been assisting the City of Verona with a variety of stormwater services in conjunction with the city's annual MS4 permit. Services include public education, outreach, and involvement, illicit discharge detection and elimination, construction site pollutant control, stormwater management ordinance compliance, public and private stormwater facility inspections, pollution prevention at public facilities, storm sewer system map updates, the MS4 annual report, and Verona Design Manual updates. The agreement is for the continuation of the services referenced above for 2026 at a cost not to exceed $104,000.
Thank you for that explanation. Questions or comments on this motion? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of approving the Stormwater Services Agreement Amendment with AECom, including the not to exceed amount, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And that motion passes. Alder Tucker Long.
Thank you. I move to approve the West Side Lift Station Upgrades Design Agreement with Strand for a cost not to exceed $99,000.
Motion by Alder Tucker Long. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alder Keller. Alder Tucker Long.
Due to continued growth on the Epic campus, the current lift station equipment is reaching its capacity and nearing its end-of-service life. This agreement will evaluate the anticipated growth in this area and design the necessary equipment improvements for continued lift station functionality. The agreement also includes for the bidding and construction inspection of the future contract to construct the improvements.
Thank you for that explanation. Questions or comments on this motion? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of approving the West Side Lift Station Upgrades Design Agreement with Strand, including the cost not to exceed amount, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And that motion passes. Alder Tucker Long.
Thank you. I move to approve Elevated Tank Preliminary Design Agreement with Strand for a cost not to exceed $80,800.
Motion by Alder Tucker Long. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alder Keller. Alder Tucker Long.
Thank you. Due to continued growth in Verona's central pressure zone, a new elevated water tank is necessary to provide reliable water service and fire protection in this area. This agreement will review existing documentation, evaluate the anticipated growth, prepare and submit a preliminary engineering report to the Public Service Commission of Wisconsin and Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, and prepare a water supply service area plan. The agreement includes attending one pre-application meeting and one public hearing regarding these documents.
Thank you for that explanation. Questions or comments on this motion? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of approving the Elevated Tank Preliminary Design Agreement with Strand signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And that motion passes. Anything further from Public Works?
Nothing further.
Excellent. With that, we'll move on to 10E, which is Tourism Commission. Alder Weiss, I believe.
Yes, I'd like to move to approve the amended room tax agreement with Verona Area Chamber of Commerce.
Motion by Alder Weiss. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alder Tucker Long. Alder Weiss.
The amendments to the agreement are downstream of concerns around the general rigor of how record keeping and tracking was being made of the expenditures through the Tourism Commission. And so this is largely through the work of city staff and several meetings of the Tourism Commission of trying to bring this up to speed with where I think that we would all expect it is in terms of transparency as well as just general record-keeping rigor for the expenditures of money that are coming from the room tax and being spent through the tourism what do you call it, tourism agency or whatever it's called, which is the Verona Area Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you for that explanation. Questions or comments on this motion? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of approving the amended room tax agreement with the Verona Area Chamber of Commerce signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And that motion passes. Alder Weiss.
I'd like to move to approve the agreed upon procedures in the engagement with Baker Tilly.
Motion by Alder Weiss. Is there a second? Second by Alder Tucker Long. Alder Weiss.
So this is similar. So we'd like to engage Baker Tilly just to have an outside look at the expenditures that occurred during the fiscal years of 2024 and 2025. So this is from January 1st of 2024 through the end of year of 2025. And this is to make sure that, when you pull on the thread of all the transactions that, what's on the other side of that. And there's no, and again, this is just, I'm trying to make sure that we're level set on exactly where we stand in terms of how the record keeping has been going. And I'm trying to get an outside looking thing at things.
Thank you for that explanation. Questions or comments on this motion? Alder Host.
Is this requested by the chamber, or was this the Tourism Commission that requested that the study be done?
This was requested by the Tourism Commission, and it was due to the I'll just say lack of rigor around how the information had been presented historically. It's something where, years ago, it was a much smaller amount of money, and as it grew over time, the practices around how the reporting was being done and how things were being tracked, well, it didn't really get updated to reflect that now it's like a non-trivial amount of money. And so some of those practices were just kind of stuck in the, what was happening several years ago. And so now that we're going to be doing things, at a higher level moving forward, we just wanted to get a clearer picture of what's been going on over the past few years, just to make sure that we're level set.
Other questions or comments? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of the agreed upon procedures engagement agreement with Baker Tilly signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And that motion passes. Anything further from Tourism Commission? Otherwise?
No.
Okay. With that, we'll move on to item 11, which is new business. First up, we have 11A, which is the discussion and possible action regarding the ordinance number 26-1082, public comment ordinance. Mr. Olick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The proposed ordinance provides that if a City of Verona board, commission, or committee meeting agenda includes public comment, if it includes public comment, members of the public may speak on any topic during the public comment period. And also, the comments shall be limited to a maximum of 3 to 5 minutes per speaker, as determined at the discretion of the chair.
And yeah, I guess this is just more trying to get our ordinances in line with our practices and have basically certainty before, when it was maybe more up to the committee or commission chairs. For the council, I plan on going forward, basically just leaving it at 5 minutes. If we have a meeting where it looks like there's 100 people in here, maybe then I would bring it down to 3. But I feel like more than 5 minutes is too long, and I feel like less than 3 minutes isn't enough time for people to talk. So that's kind of how I said it. Alder Swanson.
Thank you. So yeah, that sort of gets at what my question was, which is just, is this just codifying what is already in existence as like policy and practice, but isn't on the books, so to speak?
Alder Swanson, yes, I would say by and large, this is how we operate. Yep. Okay. And I would just reinforce, if you are a chair of a board, commission, committee, and you do see a number of people, wanting to give public comment, just make sure right off the bat you state this many minutes is what you get for public comment. I guess that's my advice for you.
And it's got to be the same for every person.
Correct.
Like
Yep.
whatever you pick,
it's
just
gotta be
make sure
uniform.
it's the same for every person.
Then I'll move to approve ordinance number 26-1082, public comment ordinance.
Motion by Alder Swanson. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alder Weiss, I think. Motion before the body. Questions or comments on the motion? Alder Tucker Long.
Will this also update the existing where it says 5 minutes for public comment in the ordinances?
Mr. Olick.
Alder Tucker Long, no. That other section purely applies to council meetings. This applies to everything else.
Okay, so we're leaving council at 5 minutes.
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
And of course, any of this stuff can be modified. And if at some point someone's like, maybe it shouldn't always be 5 minutes, we could come back and make it match this one if we wanted to. Motion before the body. Other questions or comments? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of ordinance number 26-1082, the public comment ordinance, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And that motion passes. Next, we'll move on to 11B, which is a discussion and possible action regarding the electric vehicle charging station site host agreement at Hometown Community Park between the City of Verona and Dane County. Mr. Olick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In August 2024, the U.S. DOT announced that Dane County and its partners will receive $13.2 million in funding to implement Charge Up Dane County. This funding comes from the bipartisan infrastructure law. Charge Up Dane County is a regional initiative to install EV charging stations at locations that would otherwise be unserved. The City of Verona submitted 4 sites for consideration to receive the new charging stations. Dane County previously selected to proceed with 2 sites, one at City Hall and the other at the Verona Public Library. They have now added a 3rd site at Hometown Community Park. By signing this agreement, the City of Verona agrees to host the charging stations, which will be funded, installed, and maintained by the county for the first 5 years. The city will provide the electricity and collect a fee from the use of the station that will cover city costs associated with it. After 5 years, the charging stations will become the property of the City of Verona.
Thank you for that explanation. Questions or comments or motions on this item? Alder Humke, I believe.
I move to approve the electric vehicle charging station site host agreement in Hometown Community Park between the City of Verona and Dane County.
Motion by Alder Humke. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alder Harrison. Motion before the body. Any questions or comments on the motion? Alder Tucker Long.
Where exactly is this going to go?
Mr. Alec.
Thank you, Alder Tucker Long. This is going to go on the north side of the parking lot, and it's 5 or 6 stalls from the entryway to that parking lot by the Ice Center to the east. So there'll be 4 or 5 slots that are open, and then you'll have the EV charging stations for the next, I think, about 5 slots.
So it's in the parking lot by the ice arena, not across the trail and up the hill?
No.
Perfect.
No.
Thank you.
Yep. It's strategically positioned by our amazing restaurants across the street. That's all I have to say about that. So try to keep it on Verona Ave if we could, or near it.
Other questions or comments? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of approving the electric vehicle charging station site host agreement at Hometown Community Park between the City of Verona and Dane County signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And that motion passes. With that, we move on to item 12, which is adjournment.
So moved.
Motion by Alder Host. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alder Humke. All those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. And we're adjourned at 7:32 p.m. Thank you, everyone.